Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We are so
Hello.
excited to be here. Hello, everybody signing in. We were a little bit delayed. We had a few microphones. We had a little mic because, one mic situation, but we called the residential expert in Maryland and he helped us. And thank you, Daniel, for helping us. Amen. So, Jade, are you excited? Yeah.
Yes,
Woohoo!
yes, of
Jade
course. So
is
much fun last time.
I know Jade is with us because we need a second part. We need a third part. We just need Jade back to get us straight. So we're gonna go ahead and start this podcast as people come on in. We're gonna go ahead and get started. And I know we're gonna be talking about some amazing things today, things that are gonna help people. So let me go ahead and get started with my introduction to this podcast. And welcome to Money and Friends, where we dive into some great conversation with Jade and share some practical insights that have made a difference in our lives. I'm your host, Maria. And before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. I am not an expert. We are not experts. And we are simply here to share what has worked for me and what has worked for Jade, and hopefully inspire you along the way. And that's something that we said will just resonate with you. So if you're ready to explore new perspective, learn from personal experience, and uncover strategies that could potentially enhance your own journey, then stick around. Let's go and dive into this exciting adventure together. This is Maria and Friends, and today we have a returning guest, Miss Jade Jenkins. Woohoo! Anyone else? She's yeah. Jade, thank you for being here and welcome back. And I know there's a lot of new people listening to us. If you can go ahead and say, I mean, I've been saying your name, but tell us who you are, what you do, and we'll go into that because I know that today's subject is one that I get asked so much. And I thought, let me get somebody that knows a little bit more than I do in here and hopefully, share some insight of what we can do. And we have Diana already saying, hi, hello, beauty.
Diana,
What up, beauties? Thank
good
you,
to
Diana.
see you.
So I want everybody to comment and let me know if you have questions about what we're talking about. We'll go ahead and share those. So Jade, go ahead and take it away.
Well, my name is Jade Jenkins, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of New Mexico. Of course, as Maria said, everything that I talk about here is my opinion. I do encourage you to get your own personal mental health care from your own professional, and we'll provide some resources at the end. But yeah, so I work in mental health. I'm an adult outpatient therapist, and that's what I do.
That sounds a lot.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a lot right there. So today, the subject that we're going to talk about that, like I said, I get asked a lot, and it comes into play in all of our lives, and it is the breakup, dealing with a breakup. How do I get over a breakup? And let me ask you a personal question. We're going to be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. Jade, have they broken your heart?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a professional at breakups. I've had plenty of them. I have a great resume. So yes, definitely have experienced heartbreak.
That's something we don't prepare for, huh?
Yeah.
We sometimes are prepared, sometimes we're not. I personally have dealt with breakup. I have dealt with like Jade more times than I would love to admit, but we're here. We survived. Nobody usually doesn't die of a heartbreak. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about a couple of things that have helped me, and Jade is gonna chime in as we talk about them because our goal here is to help you get over it because we can get over it, right, Jade? I mean, you can
Absolutely.
heal. You can
Yes.
heal.
Life
Uh,
goes on.
Life goes on, right? But when it's
Mhm.
happening, you feel so like the world is gonna end sometimes. It's like I remember a couple of months ago, I was talking to this girl and she was on the phone and she was crying and she said, I can't breathe. I can't even breathe. I can't even breathe. And I'm like, relax. Start by I mean, you love this guy so much you forget to breathe? What's going on? And she goes, I feel like I'm gonna die without him. I'm like, wow,
You
let's
won't,
take it,
but
just relax.
you might
She
feel that way.
Yes, I'm like, just breathe. It's gonna be okay. Let's take it one, and we talked, and she calmed down. But I left that call thinking, wow, she is that deep into, and we'll dive into all those things and some of the things that we can do on that. But let me start with the first and foremost thing that I feel that I think it helps us, because we don't want to go through a breakup. We start in these relationships, and we don't get into relationships thinking, oh, in 2 months I'm going to break up, or in 3 months we're going to break up, right? We get into this relationship thinking, this is the one. I'm going to go down the aisle. This is going to be good. This is the one. He's a man for me. I feel the butterflies. I
Start looking at engagement rings on Pinterest.
start a different board on Pinterest about our wedding
Yeah.
and our vacation and centerpieces and all that stuff. But the reality is that sometimes things don't work out, and we are not ready for that, because we just go in there with all our hearts. But the first thing that happens when we break up, we're shocked. Some of us are shocked, and some of us is like, well, I kind of saw that coming, you know. But I one of the things that has helped me is allowing yourself to grieve,
Hmm.
especially if it's been a relationship.
Yeah.
And we have, hello, Tati. Hello.
So,
That's Tati. Can you tell us where you're watching from? I forgot. I know it's not in Texas. Can you tell me, Tati, where you watching from? So allow us to grieve. I think that's very important to acknowledge that you have ended a relationship, that you
mhm.
have ended some dreams, some thoughts, you have ended your hopes and dreams. So you need to be okay with that, because sometimes you're like, no, no, just push it in, just push it in. And that's how we end up with 30 pounds overweight and drinking everything inside. And what do you think of that, Jade?
Oh yeah, I mean,
And
you know,
Tati said she says, I live in New Hampshire.
oh wow, very cool, very cool. Hello
So
from hello from Texas over
yeah.
here. So okay, sorry, go. What was the question?
So when we grieve, so how important it is to allow ourselves to grieve once we
Oh
break.
yes, absolutely. I think because it hurts and hurting doesn't feel good. So I think we want so badly to not have that feeling anymore. So, trying to get rid of it or ignore it or push it down, but it's going to come out eventually. So, yeah, giving yourself space to feel what you need to feel. You're grieving the loss of the presence of this person, but you're also grieving the loss of the dreams that you had with that person. And now all of a sudden, the trajectory of your life is different. So there's a lot going on, and definitely allowing yourself to grieve is very important because it is a loss. It's the death of a relationship, may not be the death of that person, but they will no longer be in your life at the same capacity. Yeah.
And sometimes you start grieving the person that you were when you were with them.
Right.
Even that. So there is, it's a different type of grief, obviously, but it is something that we have to acknowledge, but not just stay there, right? Not make a tent.
Yes. Yeah, we can't let it overwhelm us or overcome us. I actually saw this TikTok, and I thought it was a really excellent coping skill. I started telling my clients about it. But this guy had what he called his crying roulette
What is
playlist.
that?
So he would put a whole playlist of sad songs, and then hidden amongst all the sad songs would be what he called his bad B word song.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So, like something that gets you really pumped up and really hyped. So the whole playlist, he would play and he would put it on shuffle. So all the sad songs are playing, and he's crying and he's crying and he's crying. And then as soon as that bad B song
Yeah,
comes
yeah, yeah.
on the playlist, he gets up, wipes his tears, and starts twerking.
Oh,
And
oh
so it's
my
kind of like, you know what? You give yourself, you need a few minutes to cry, okay, give yourself some space to do that, but don't sink into it. As soon as that hype me up song or whatever you want to call it comes on, wipe your tears, take a deep breath, and keep going with your day. And if you have to have a crying roulette moment every day for a week or two
Yeah.
weeks or
Yeah.
whatever, give yourself that space, but give it a limited space. You set
How long
boundaries.
how long is it, I would say if you put time, how long is a good time to grieve for a loss? Or it depends on how long the relationship was. And in the
Well, that
meantime,
definitely
while you
plays
think
into
your answer,
it.
I want to say hi to everybody that's chiming in. Darlene. Darlene is
So,
Darlene, where are you from? I know that Sally is from Jersey. Sally says she's from Jersey. Darlene, I think, is from Florida too. So we have Florida, we have New Hampshire, we have Jersey. We have anybody
not
from
a
El Paso?
East Coast.
Do you have anybody from El Paso yet? Oh goodness. Okay.
Well,
So
Diana's
oh,
from
Diana. Diana's from El Paso. So tell me, in your opinion, how long is a good healthy time to grieve for this relationship?
Well, I think, like you said, the length of time you were in the relationship definitely plays a big part. Like, how much had you invested? Um, but I also think, everyone's different. And some people are able to kind of get over something a little more quickly. Some people need a little more time to process. So, if you're grieving for longer than you were in the relationship for,
Oh, that's a good
then
one.
it's like if it was a 4-month relationship and you're still grieving after 6 months, that might be an issue.
Yes. You know
But
what? That's something. I mean, because that can you imagine that being, let's say, I'm in
even
a
then,
relationship for let's say a year, and it's 5 years after, and I'm still grieving like if it was yesterday.
right, right.
So does that mean is that a red flag? I'm not sure if that's a proper, but is that a red flag that there's something wrong with me?
I mean, I guess as a therapist, I would probably think you might be stuck somewhere along the
Yeah.
way. You got stuck, and
Veronica, hello,
but
Veronica.
no, I don't
Hi,
think there's
Veronica.
any.
Tell me,
Hello.
tell me where you're at, Veronica. Veronica's my friend. So, so that would tell you that they're stuck somewhere.
You're hung up somewhere and haven't been able to really fully process the situation. Something's holding you back.
So
But
the next, go ahead. I'm sorry.
that kind of goes into one of the other steps, we had talked about, which is seeking support.
Yes.
That can be a really important link, a thing that you need to get you unstuck from that
So
process.
let me go ahead and put here on the screen something real quick. So let's say number one, we're gonna put allow yourself
To
to
grieve.
grieve. Okay. So we have that. Okay, let me see. So number one would be allow yourself to grieve. So let's say number two, we're gonna say seek support from loved ones. How important is that?
Very important, because a lot of times we can get, caught up in our own emotions and our own thoughts, and having some outside perspective and some outside support when we're drained, from our own emotions can be really important. And people who love us can provide really helpful insights that can help move us forward with things.
What kind of people should you be seeking support from? Is everybody okay?
That's a very good question, actually.
Because
Because,
I
yeah,
know for sure that there's people in my life that if I go seek support, the kind of support that I'm gonna get from them is like, okay, go get your keys, let's go get some bats, and we're gonna do some damage, and we're gonna go key a car, and they're gonna need new windows, and so what
I
kind
feel
of
like
support?
everyone has those friends that you can call them when you want to do bad. It's like, you know, um, but that's a good question, because not everyone is going to provide healthy support or helpful support, we'll say. Um, you know, people who are going to uplift you, not encourage you to do something illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
Not encourage you to do something reckless, like,
So we
go
have
out drinking.
Sally. We
And
have
yeah,
Sally that says, I was married for 10 years, grieved for a long time, choose to take care of my children and not think of relationships.
yeah,
So, and she says, if it wasn't for my parents, it would have been so much harder.
yeah, that support is important. Well, and then, you add having kids to the mix, that kind of occupies some of your time and your emotions as well. You have these little humans to take care of. And so that's where self care can be really important.
And let me ask you this question because as a grown woman, is it okay to tell your parents you had a breakup? Is it okay to go crying to them? Is that okay? Is that healthy?
I mean, I guess it depends on the relationship you have with your parents. Yeah, because if the parent is like involved in the relationship and telling you what you should and shouldn't do, maybe that's a little too much. But when we're hurt, we kind of naturally like to go to our moms, I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Like,
I personally like to go to my
mom.
dad. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I just
So, yeah.
my dad. Well, I like again. It depends on what type of parents you have. Because I am telling you, if Nano and Gabriel, I am telling you. So if they hear me, if they hear this podcast, do not come and tell me about your breakup. Do not come and tell me she broke your heart because I don't think I can handle it yet. Let's go get a bad. Let's go key. Let me call somebody. I'm just kidding. I would be
You'd
difficult.
be,
I
yeah.
don't, but I'm obviously I'm an adult now, and I do go tell my dad. Do go and say, hey, you know what, Dad? I don't give him details though. I don't give him details, but I say, you know what? Dad will say, so what happened with that bird? I'm like, what bird? The bird that you were dating. In Spanish, we call it pájaro. And I'm like, well, Dad, it didn't work out. Oh, you shot him, huh? No, Dad, well, it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
really
that kind of thing. So, and Veronica has a really good point. We will talk about that. We also have to see the spiritual side. We create soul ties with people we've broken up with that don't allow us to heal so easily. Now,
hmm
I'm going to tell you something. We need to do a whole podcast talking about soul ties because I want your perspective on that because spiritually there is such a thing of soul ties. There is such a connection in a deeper level. So I don't know if clinically there's a different name for that or a different attachment or so of some sort, but I do know that spiritually there's some soul ties that that's a whole needs a whole explanation. But we have
hmm
your flesh and your spirit, and you have your flesh, your spirit, and your soul, right? So then a lot of times, even the Bible talks about that Jonathan and David, they just have this connection, and it's not always sexual. It could be just such a
Right.
deep connection, like Ruth and her mom and stuff. And so there was and she said, "Wherever you go, I will go. Your Lord will be my Lord, your God, and my, all that stuff." She made
Mhm.
that commitment. So I do know that there's healthy soul ties, and I know there's toxic soul ties, and I know that the soul tie can be so profound. And usually one of the things that makes it such profound is the sex. And like if that relationship has had sex and there's been intimacy and there's been that exchange and oh my God, all that stuff, that really does create such a strong bond that you crave that person, you think about that person, even time goes on and that you still have that soul, that mind, that connection. And well, we can go into that, but it is a very, very interesting thing. So, if y'all want to know more about soul ties, how to break them, how they happen, why they happen, I want you to put a note in the comments and we will do a whole episode because that merits a whole hour on itself to explain all that. And Diana says, let's see here. Soul ties is a real deal. Yep.
Yeah.
Diana says soul ties could be good or bad. Absolutely. And let's
Yeah,
see.
because sometimes you have like another word for it, like is kindred spirits. You know, in a
Correct.
good way, in a friendship, sometimes you just find that person that's like your other half, um,
Absolutely.
and it can be a good thing. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
And like, and there is good soul ties, people that even family members that you have that deep connection, and they you have shared and you have built that bond, or
hmm
and that time goes by and you still think of them. They're still there. They're still present, like if they were right there. And yeah, there's friendships, people, things like that. And let's see, Marcia says yes. Let's talk about it. So we will. If you really want to go into deep dive into what soul ties are and how to break them, because there's things that you need to do to break that spiritually, because they will really not allow you to move forward because you're still tied to that other person. And sometimes you move on to a different relationship, and because you've created such a soul tie, like, and when I mean soul, I mean emotions, thoughts, desires. It's so attached to that other person that when you start a new relationship with somebody else, when you least expect it, boom, it just has, you have that random thought. Or even in your dreams, you're already dating somebody. You could even be married. You could even be married to somebody else already and start a life. But because in the back of your mind, there's a soul tie that something happens, it'll trigger that. Soul
hmm
ties. Let me share this with you, because this is crazy. Sometimes a soul tie can be so strong that when that person is depressed, all of a sudden you're depressed and you don't even know why. Because there's a spiritual cord connected to you, from you to that person, and from that person to you. And that's why when you're really, really good friends, you get that, like, I know something's wrong. Like moms and sons, moms and children, not only did they have a physical cord, they've had a spiritual, physical soul cord. That's why a mom knows. You know that intuition that moms get?
hmm
You'll know that. You'll know that.
I will. I've heard. I know my mom has it.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, right. They don't know why. They don't know why. They don't know how, but they know because they know because they know. It's that cord. Like
Yeah,
twins. Have you ever seen how twins know stuff from each other? Is that cord.
it is so weird.
They
I was
share
like,
the physical
twins.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
and then this cord, and you have to. And let's see. Let's say what Veronica says. It took me 2 years to get over that significant other. It was only searching for God that I started to heal.
Well, and that is, thank you for sharing that, Veronica, because that is another thing that is important when you're trying to get over a relationship is taking care of yourself, which includes taking care of your spiritual self. We were just talking about soul ties. Sometimes you have to take care of that spiritually and cut that soul tie and repent and, pray and ask God to kind of come and heal that. And so asking God for help along the healing process is very important. Um, that's an important part of taking care of yourself.
Diana says, "Yep, my son senses when something is off with me too."
Mhm.
Yep, it's that soul tie, that cord, and especially when you've shared a
Yeah.
physical cord, plus you have that soul tie. And Sally says, mother's intuition is real.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a real thing. So we go on to the third one, and it's take care of your physical health. So it's really important when you're going through a breakup, because sometimes we stop showering, we stop
Mhm.
eating, we
Or
stop
eat only donuts. Yeah.
like, seriously, that is like a real thing. Like some people lose weight. When they're going through a breakup, they stop eating, they lose weight, but then they get sick and sick, and they go into depression, and then they stop bathing, and they
Mhm.
stop shaving, they stop taking care of themselves, they let themselves go. And you're like, one thing that women do, I don't know if you I know I've done it. Every time I go through a breakup, I cut my hair.
Really?
I do. I don't know.
Interesting. I'm like, I haven't been through a breakup recently.
I don't know if anybody does it, but I mean, now I don't do anymore. Right now, I'm in the point in my life that if I go through a breakup, I just buy a new wig.
Well, I could see that. It's something that makes you feel fresh and, makes you feel kind of renewed in a sense. So, making a change to your appearance in some way, like getting a new set of nails or
Right.
that's probably what
So
I would do.
well, some people take it, it's like you got to balance. Some people go the other way. They hide themselves. They just start crying. They go to depression. And I know Sally said that she went through a little bit of that. And some people get anxiety. They develop all these things. Like some people start eating. They just eat. Like Sally was saying. What was she saying?
Ice
Ice
cream
cream and
and
chocolate is our best friend.
Yeah.
What show was it
Look
that
at
they
my
had?
Netflix too.
Was it
What
the
a
Golden Girls?
coincidence.
Was it the Golden Girls? Was it the Golden Girls that they had cheesecake whenever something was going on? They
I
would
don't
sit in the
know.
middle of the table and eat cheesecake or ice cream, something like that. Something like
Sounds about right.
that. So, and Sally was saying because sometimes you want to change. Marcia says yes. When I went through a bad breakup, I cut my hair super short and dyed it blonde. Look at that, Marcy. Do you have any pictures? I want to see. Oh, yeah, you go
I
through
think you would
that,
look great as a blonde, actually.
right? I
I
want
can
to see
see that.
pictures.
Me too.
All sassy and all sassy and all that stuff. But we do. I mean, that when you go through a breakup, you're right. We got to go through stuff. And Julieta, hey Angelia, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today
Yeah.
we're talking about how to get over a breakup, and we've been sharing some things. And right now, you walked in the conversation. We're talking about taking care of yourself. We've talked about allow yourself to grieve. We've talked about seeking support from loved ones. And third, we've talked about taking care of your physical health. And that could be just not letting all that depression and all that stuff come in and waddle in it and just, let's get out there, let's exercise. And some of us were saying we get a new haircut. So I was sharing my story that every time we go through a big great breakup, I would just cut my hair like, shoom, cut it off. Now, at this stage of my life, I don't cut my hair. I'll just buy a new wig with a different color. And she says, let's see. Marcia Roberts, yes, I want to see that look too. Woo! So y'all want to see it, Marcia? You need to post it so we can see it. And Angelia said, after my divorce, I started trying wigs. I lost 50 plus pounds and won a competition at church. Look at that. I am telling you, sometimes
Yeah.
the breakup,
Sometimes the weight loss can be a benefit, I guess.
look at
In
that.
some
She went
cases.
all the way, she went the good. And she
Yeah.
said, I started acting grown after my divorce and got crazy. Oh
You
my God.
know,
I
so
started
yeah,
acting grown after my divorce and going crazy. Okay.
because
I,
sometimes that's
yeah.
react that way and you've been hurt, you wanna just
Yeah.
let it
It's
all
true.
out. Yeah.
Sometimes after the breakup, I did also one of the breakups. Let's see here. Hold on. Dinah says, I just go shopping. That's
Retail
what she feels
therapy.
like. Retail therapy. That's what they call it. Retail therapy. Sometimes I started like after the breakup, I had never drank in my life. I've never drank all my Christian life, never drank, never nothing. And I remember I cut my hair and I started drinking margaritas. I was like, I went down the deep dive with one margarita, and I was already losing my testimony over there somewhere.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say that some things I definitely do not recommend. Things not to do through a breakup would be any sort of substance use.
I was
And
like, I'm telling you, one margarita.
yeah,
One, and
when you're
I
not
was
used
singing
to it.
kumbaya. I was hugging strangers. Because you know what? I get real emotional. So I was hugging strangers and wanted to tell the
Became
people
best
and
friends with the
hug
girls in the
everybody.
bathroom.
Do you know what so and so? Come on, let me introduce you. And I want everybody to be. Yeah, no, that just fun. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I think one time, oh Lord forgive me, but one time I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna. tell you guys.
You have to tell your on yourself.
So,
I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone.
yes, I've heard that. What?
I
You
would
know what?
also
They
not
do that
recommend
too.
that if we're talking about soul ties.
Well, 'cause in Spanish, there's a phrase that one nail will take out another nail. So in Spanish, you say un clavo saca otro clavo, and I don't know about that, but some of our decisions are not. Angelia says that was me too. That's crazy.
I see.
My same drink, damn margaritas.
Margaritas.
You know what? Because I got no. This tastes like lemonade. I'll be good. This tastes like lemonade. I'm like, and you know,
Ooh, they have a
it
prickly
wasn't.
pear
You know
flavored
what? It wasn't one of
margarita.
those little.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those little lemonades. It was one of those mini
Like a
pools, the big,
bowl.
big one.
Well, if that was your one margarita, I could see
That
why
was.
you being
I
so
was
friendly.
like, all I know is that I kept looking for the lemonade taste and kept drinking and drinking with a straw, and I think the straw made because I was drinking it with a straw, so I went all the way to the bottom, and I was drinking the alcohol that it went all the way to the bottom, so that hit me first. And I am telling you, by the end of the night, I was making friends, introducing people. It was a mess. It was a
So funny.
mess. So y'all don't tell on me. Y'all don't tell on me. All right. Y'all don't tell on me. And Diana says, years ago, I used to drink, but that was over 8 years ago. LOL. I have Jesus now, and he's been my best to go. What? He's
Yes.
been my best go to. There we go. My
Yeah,
best go
because
to.
you know what? Jesus won't leave you embarrassed at the end of the night. That's for
Dang.
sure.
I like that. Jesus won't let you
He
embarrass at
will
the
not
end of
leave
the
you
night.
embarrassed. Getting drunk might.
Yes, yes. So, because I understand, your heart's broken and you're going through stuff and it feels like it's not going to heal, but it does. It just takes time. You just got to get close to positive people that will help you out, and like we're talking, get near loved ones that are going to encourage you and all that. And Bridget says, let's see, Maria, you are already hilarious. So you plus alcohol, extreme hilarious. I,
I
I
feel like that would be quite the party.
I don't think I get hilarious. I just want everybody to be friends and just introducing people
Everybody
and
love everybody.
just start loving on everybody and kissing strangers and people. It's a mess. All right. So it says, if I tell you, I would have to tell on me because I did the same thing. You see, that's it. That's it. That's it. We need to go on Sunday. We need to go to the altar, do an altar call. So the next one, engage in activities you enjoy. So
Not
what
just
is that?
margaritas.
Not Margaret.
You might enjoy margaritas, but
Yes, but engage on other things, right?
yes.
So
Things
let me.
that stimulate your mind, things that inspire you, pick up a hobby or start doing something that you used to love that you haven't had time for in a long time, things like that.
So when you're going through a breakup, it's important to stay busy. I think it's very
Can
important to stay
be.
busy.
So, yeah. Um, there's a balance, right? You don't want to be too busy to where you're not facing things, but then at the same time, you don't want to have too much idle time because then you get stuck with your thoughts. So it's kind of like a balance a little bit, but keeping busy with positive things, you know, um, spending time with some of your supports, doing something to for your own physical health, like exercise. I mean, hobbies, things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
How important is exercise to your mental health?
Oh, it's very helpful. A lot of times when you're exercising, your brain starts creating endorphins and different things like chemicals that are uplifting, and helpful in the brain. So it's very good to have your physical and mental health. They're very tied together. Cortisol levels too, like when you're super stressed. Um, Exercise helps reduce your cortisol levels. So it does a lot of things, that help with our mental health for
It
sure.
does. It does. And Sally says, I was super busy with kids, school, and their activities. Now they're grown. My time now, empty nester. Time for me. All right, Sally.
All
Woohoo!
about
Awesome.
you.
And Angelia, hold on, let me get like she
That's
said, I
awesome.
started reading, decorating. I also started a book and served a more as well and served as more as well. Okay, I can't read. I started reading, decorating. I also started a book and served more as well. Okay, along with working out. Yes, you see.
Mhm.
And Sally says taking long walks in the park helped. Going to the beach, natural medicine, happy places.
Yes, that's awesome. It's a little different here in the desert. We can't walk along the beach. But that, oh my gosh, that's a wonderful, yeah, going for walks because there are nice parks and stuff even here in El Paso, shade and pretty things. But going for walks is really good because that can be exercise. It doesn't have to be like CrossFit or anything. Just going for walks can be really good. Helps you clear your thoughts. You can talk to God, looking at the natural beauty.
Awesome. So the next one that I want to talk about is set boundaries. What kind of boundaries do we need to set while going through a breakup?
Well, again, everyone's different. Everyone has to decide for themselves. But me personally, I don't think I would want to have personal contact with that person anymore. Now, not everyone has that luxury. If you have children with that person, you do still, kind of have to have contact with them. But even in that situation, you can keep conversations only to the children and nothing else, nothing personal. But truthfully, for me to get over somebody, like I can't see them on social media. I have to kind of like cut that tie. But I know some people who have, broken up and still gone to the same church, you know,
Yeah.
and that happens too. And so that's not always an option to completely eliminate that person from your life. So, yeah, I guess it depends on the situation and the person.
Going back to the comment, Diana says painting, dinner dates with friends. Oh, I like those. Horseback riding, traveling, and reading the word. That helps her. That
Can't
helps her.
go wrong with
Yeah,
traveling.
yeah, that's right. That's good. And horseback riding, that's something Diana really enjoys. I mean, she discovered that and she really tells me
I need
some
to.
really
I would love to start going horseback riding
I
too. I need to
know, as
talk to her.
Diana. Thank you, as Diana. I'm not. No, that's too much for me. But Diana says it's really peaceful. Like Diana was telling, because I'm not really into horses, all that stuff. But Diana says that they're very peaceful. There's therapy done with horses, that they calmed her. They sense what you're sensing. They're
Mhm.
very empath, and there's
Mhm.
just being around them just gives you peace, and
Yeah.
caressing, talking to them. She really likes that. She really discovered that. So yeah, talk to her. One of the things that I want to say, going back to boundaries, that they are very important. I mean, you have
Mhm.
to hold your guns when it comes to boundaries, because if you don't set clear boundaries, and you will allow the disrespect, you will continue to allow the disrespect, because what happens if you don't set boundaries and you just leave free range, then at any time they can come back and hurt you. At any time they can come back and pull you back, because there's nothing holding you accountable for nothing. So there is no limits, no nothing. So what happens is that at 3 in the morning, they're lonely. There's no boundaries. They call you, hey, what you doing? You're lonely. I'm lonely. Hey, you know what? We were married at one time. Hey, you know what? Um, we have needs that you see. So you need to set boundaries, because then what happens the next day? They go back to the same thing, because there's no repercussion for what they've done. So the boundary needs to be set for you.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's boundaries that are will help you stay safe and the other person from hurting you. There's a reason boundaries are very important. And if you have trouble setting boundaries, go find somebody that can help you set them. Talk to somebody that has the revelation, that has the knowledge on what boundaries to set in your life. Like you were saying, some people are married, so we can't just ignore it. But there's other things that we can do
Mhm.
Definitely get him off your Facebook. Get him off your TikTok. Get him off all your social media. Really break contact with that person, because I used to date this guy that I had to set a complete boundary. I mean, I had to just completely wipe him out of
Hmm.
every contact, because what would happen, it was really weird, because I had a soul tie with this guy, to the point, Jade, that I would hear his voice. That's all. That's all. That's all. If
Hmm.
he would just sweet talk me, I was done.
Yeah.
I would forget how much he hurt me. I would forget the lies. I would
So.
forget. I would forget what he said, what he did, how he did it. I would start saying, "Oh, well, because because this, and well, and it was because he did that, and his parents abandoned him when he was a child, and then because he got dropped in the head when he was little, and he didn't eat enough carrots, and
Yeah.
he was never hugged, so he doesn't know how to love, and so I would, and it was just, and by the time I would come back to my senses, a lot of the damage was already done.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
then because I had to break that soul tie, because all I had to do was get a text. This is how horrible it was, Jade. And I'm going to be real honest. All my business out there in the internet. Oh, Lord.
A lot of people are relating,
Because
though. Sure.
all you had to do is tell me, I'm hurting. I'm hurting.
And he knew that you had a soft.
Oh, God, no. Lord have mercy. I was like, you're hurting? Oh, oh, he's hurting. All he had to say, Jay, he wouldn't even type it. His lazy butt. He wouldn't even type it. All he had to do is hear his actual voice. I'm hurting. Oh my God. I was just like, I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. Mama's coming. I'm
Oh
coming.
my
I'm coming.
gosh.
That's it. Because I blocked him from Facebook. I blocked him from Instagram. I mean, Snapshot. I don't know. Text blocked him. I blocked him from everything except I forgot the email.
Oh,
I
oh.
forgot. I forgot. I forgot the email. Hold on. Let's see. There, we got a couple of messages. We'll read them. But he sent me an email and he said, "I miss you." That's it.
And
I
then
was
it's game over.
game over. And I said, "Are you okay?" How dumb am I? How? Oh my God!
We've
I'm like,
all been there.
"Wow,
We've
come
all been there, I'm
on!" And then
sure.
yeah, I mean, it was just like I forgot all the bad things he did, and it was all about the good times, and all the good times come flooding.
Maybe this
The way
time.
he smelled, and maybe this time he learned his lesson. Maybe he missed me enough. Maybe he grew up, and his narcissistic blessed insurance did not change.
He was like, I know the magic words to say.
He knew I had to break that soul tie. I am telling you, you like Sally says, you go back in time immediately. That soul tie, and no, no, no. So I had to. Now I'm healed. Now I have seen him several times. I don't care.
That's
And you know
awesome.
what?
That's how you know
And
yourself.
I am telling you, this Dinah says yes, and sometimes they're stubborn and keep trying to communicate. Yes, because you know what? They haven't found somebody that'll treat them like you do. They haven't found another woman that is willing to put up with their stuff like you did.
Hmm.
Somebody that loves them like you, somebody that takes care of them, somebody that did everything you did, and they haven't found anybody. So they're circling the block. But I promise you, the minute they find your replacement, they will move on. They will move
Yeah.
on. And when that doesn't work, you're in the in between person. No, no, no. I am telling you, when I've gone through stuff, I've had enough margaritas in my life. I mean, I've had issues.
Those make you get rid of your boundaries.
Yeah, right.
Margaritas. They're like, boundaries where?
Angelia says, "You are not dumb. I can make you feel like a genius with my stories." Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support.
I'm
Well,
telling
yes,
you, we've all been
amen.
there.
Diana says, Angelia taught, girl, me too. Oh my God. But we've learned. And this is why we're here right now. This is why
Yes.
we do what we do. This is why Jade's here. This is why all of you are commenting and all of you are sharing, because we have gone through it. And we want to tell other women, stop, stop, stop. Just stop. Cut the cord.
Because
Enforce your boundaries.
those things, like we joke and we the drinking, the just hooking up with someone immediately, those make us feel better in that moment. It's like a super quick fix, but it's not something long lasting. It ends up just kind of creating more damage along the way. So, and that's sometimes what exactly we want to dive into because we're in pain. So it is hard. It is hard to do these things, when you're really suffering. It's easy to just go to the dark side.
It really is. But this is where, like we've been talking about, get support from loved ones, take care of your physical health, engage in activities, set boundaries, and understand the relationship. And sometimes when I wasn't able to do it, I had people I had to call and say, you know what, I miss him. Remind me why I don't like him, because my brain somehow just forgets that part. And they would be like, you know what? He did this to you, remember? He did that to you, remember? You allowed it. Um, ¿Cómo se dice? He put you under a spell. I want to say that
Mhm.
because sometimes they put you under such a spell because somebody's, oh my, I want to get real here for a minute. Sometimes these men, they are professionals at what they do. They become professionals, especially if they've been married. Girl, if they've been married, oh my
Look
God,
out.
if they've been
Look out.
married, listen to me. Listen to me.
Listen, Linda.
Listen, listen, Linda, listen to me. These men have been married. They know their way around a woman.
They know the buzzwords. They know what gets us to go, oh.
They do. I'm hurt. My God, that don't work for me anymore.
I'll be like, oh,
Just so y'all know, like, oh,
Band-Aid.
he needs me. I'm still out of the 100 women that he had on his phone, he called me because you're the only one that answered
I
at 3 in the
rose to
morning.
the top this time.
I'm
Yeah.
up the top 3. Oh my God, I'm moving up the ladder.
Oh,
Someday maybe
Lord.
I'll be number 1. Oh my
Oh.
Lord. Oh my God, I want to
Yeah.
cry. Okay, so
Relatable. That's
but
relatable.
right? Sally says, you think they will change, but you know deep down that they will never ever, that they'll never happen. Um, you got to know your worth. You are better. The bad was the bad was bad, and the good was not enough. Ooh, I like that. The bad was bad, and the good was not good enough. But we can talk about narcissists. We can talk about other stuff. But yeah, we all have a story. We melt like butter, thinking we're the only ones, right?
No, we've all been there.
They have
We've
the
all
sense
been
with
there.
words. They say it the right way. And
Mhm.
they make you feel some kind of way because they know this is
Yeah.
what they do as a profession. I sometimes think the devil anoints them sometimes to get these things done because they get in your mind and your heart and create that soul tie, and that's why sometimes they want to sleep with you so fast because that's how they hook you. But we'll
Gotta
talk
be
about soul ties.
careful of those silver tongued devils.
Say that again. Say that again.
Gotta be careful of those silver tongued devils.
Right, right. But you know what? I know just being on the opposite side, there are women that do the same.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%.
They're
We're
women.
just a bunch of girls right now, and that's we're all relating to it. But no, absolutely, it happens to men too.
There's women. I have seen a lot of good men have their hearts broken
I have too.
by a bad woman, by a
Mhm.
woman that's just on the other side. Then you're like, and sometimes don't you ever wonder? I'm like, here am I, all good, all kind, all, but no, no, they had to go over there with a bad girl,
How come those women don't find these men? Like, how come
right?
they
It's
don't
just
find each other? It's like they're like oil and water. They would clash.
yeah, we need to do it. That's gonna be our next project. That's gonna be our next part, Jade. How do we get these all these good men and all these good women together in one place? And we'll,
No,
we'll
I
work it
was
out,
saying the manipulative women and the manipulative men should get together.
right?
Like,
They
how come they don't
they
find each other?
they wouldn't be able to manipulate each
Met
other.
their match, yeah.
Let's
Oh,
see here. I never meet that one. Let's see. I never met one
that's smart.
that smart. I was just being silly and painted red flags pink. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. We did. I've done that. I painted the red flags white, pink, beige. I did a couple of beige. I just
It's a
put
nice shade
flowers on
of
them, decorated
coral.
them. Because you know what? Because we tend to be hopeful. We deep inside, because we're women are so
We're
nurturers.
compassionate.
Les, hey Les, you're here. We would love to hear your thoughts, Les, on manipulating women. How, or you want to share something about breaking your heart and stuff. But so we're talking about that sometimes us women also break men's hearts. We gotta be real. We gotta be real about this. The same way they break in our hearts and play with our emotions and do all that stuff. Sometimes we've done it. I know that when I was younger, I did break a couple of hearts myself. Ooh, maybe that's why they got back at me, man. Karma. I know karma doesn't exist, but
Just
sometimes karma
call
gets you. But I know I broke a couple of hearts, but I know I was young.
just call Maria a regular heartbreaker over here.
It was when I was young, really young, really, really young. And
Trying.
Diana says, we are trying to change each other, seeing the greater potential in each other. And she goes, yep, I was bad too. Diana, she was a heartbreaker too. Ooh, we've learned, we've changed. So let me ask your opinion, Jade. Can a bad guy, let's say a bad guy, the type of guy that we've been talking about, can they change? And
See,
should
that
we
one's not
wait?
a clear
And,
black and white
and
answer.
should we wait around while they change?
No, that's easy. No, don't wait around. Like, nobody has time for that. Yes, everybody has their hangups, everybody has their issues. Potential is great, but really, I think it was Brianna Wooten that was saying this in one of our ladies groups recently about how you have to be a whole adult. Like, I'm a whole adult taking care of myself. The other person needs to be a whole adult taking care of themselves. Like, yes, we're all going to have some broken pieces here and there, but like, for me personally, I'm not going to spend time on a fixer upper. Like,
Ooh.
I need, and if they have major stuff going on, that's great. Like, are they working on it? You know what I mean? Or are they just kind of like, because that's the big difference is like, okay, maybe they've got a lot of issues. Maybe they're a reforming bad boy or whatever, but are they actively working toward bettering that situation? Or are they just like, oh, well, this is who I am? Like, no, no, thank you. I don't have time. But that's just me.
So, because I feel the same way, because you can get stuck, like
Yeah.
you, because there's a saying in Spanish. Because this is my problem. You can stick around while they change, but that doesn't mean it's gonna happen right away. And by the time they change, by the time they fix their stuff, what if they ruined your life in the process?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it can't happen. I've seen plenty of stories where, it was the bad guy and he changed for the girl or whatever. She like helped straighten him up. I mean, but I feel like that's more the exception to the rule. That's not usually how things go. And everybody wants that story. Like, everybody wants to, I'm going to be that exception.
We
I'm going to
we
be the one
truly
to change
believe,
it.
because you
But
know what, we truly believe that we will love them enough. We will pray them through. We will love them. We will pray them. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, if you're married to that man, you need to do that, because
if
nobody
you're
told you to
married,
marry
yeah,
him. Nobody
that's
told you to
a
marry.
different
You married
story.
now. Pray for that man. Stick it through. Try to do the best you can. So we have Aaron de la Hoya. Hello, how are you? ¿Cómo está, hermano? Dios le
Hello.
bendiga. ¿De dónde lo está mirando? Where are you watching? Are you in Mexico? Are you in Juarez? He also has a podcast. So all of y'all, if you speak Spanish, follow that man, Aaron de la Hoya. He is amazing. He is a radio station genius. As a matter of fact, I would love to invite him to one of our podcasts, so he can talk to us and tell us how this Christian thing and podcasting is through in media. And so, hermano, lo invito. He says, God bless you. So he's an amazing. So make sure y'all follow him because he does amazing things. He does a lot of good shows for women, good podcasts in Spanish. So absolutely. And he said claro que sí, which he means of course yes. So there we have it in public. Everybody already saw this. He said yes. So we'll invite him. That's going to be a really good podcast. So amen. Dios le bendiga. Muchas gracias. Thank you for showing up. So he's amazing. He really does a lot of shows for women and supports him and his lovely wife and his kids. He is a man of God, and he had and I want to promote that because there's also good podcasting for men, and he just does amazing work. But so thank you for being with us, hermano. So enough for that commercial. So back to the farm. So yes, so the next one we're going to be talking about is reflect on the relationship. So what do we need to what is our should be our takeaway when we're looking at these relationships?
Well, I mean, I think that at the end of a bad relationship, usually that's when those red flags you start recognizing that they were red and not red and white striped or pink or slightly orange. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I know those were red flags the whole time. I was just trying to throw some paint on it, you know? But also, it's important to kind of look back on what we did to contribute.
Oh, that's a good
Can't
one.
leave every relationship thinking it was always the other person, because it always takes two, you know, and so that can be very hard, especially when you have been hurt and maybe the other person did wrong you in some way, but there's always something that we could have done to contribute, you know, to make things
Absolutely.
better, or that we contributed to make things worse. So that can be a difficult thing to
So,
reflect on.
I think it's very important to assess, to
Mhm.
look at the relationship, like you said, what was my part, what was their part, and not look at it with clear eyes. Sometimes the
Mhm.
distance will allow you to look back at the relationship and say, you know what, that relationship almost killed me. I learned from that relationship. What did I learn from that relationship? That relationship took me to a place longer than I wanted to stay, do things
Mhm.
I didn't expect. That relationship in me brought something out in me that I didn't know I have the capability of doing. So you learn. So out of everything, you learn the good and the bad. Just reflect. But
Mhm.
sometimes don't idealizas. How do you say that in English? Don't
Yeah, idealize,
idealize.
romanticize it, and look back.
Romanticize is a
Yeah,
word.
just kind of like, yeah,
So yes, so let's go on to the next one. And let's see here.
it's like reading the comments. Focus on personal growth. Yeah.
So
Um, mhm.
let me go back to the comments. What was it saying here? Um Mercedes said yes, fact.
Facts. And
Absolutely, like
not praying for
giving up
them.
and not praying for them. That's right. And Marcia said, Amen, especially if they keep going in circles and making excuses. Amen. All
Yeah.
right. So let's go back. Let's go to the next one. So we also focus on personal growth. So that's really important. Now that you've seen, okay, you know what, I need to work on this relationship didn't work because
Mhm.
I'm a little toxic, I'm a little jealous, and I was reading all the Instagrams and I was following everything, and I was just, peeking throughout his window, and I would go to his home and touch the car, see if it's warm, check the tire marks. I'm not speaking from personal experience.
Like, you've never gotten this idea to ever before.
So you check all those things, and check his history in the computer, because all that stuff. So all these relationships have the opportunity for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to see the good in us, the good in others, and see things that we need to do and we need to better. So it is a time for us to use that as a stepping stone and learn from it and grow. and say, you know what, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. So that you don't carry that into the next relationship.
Absolutely. I'm not doing this again.
And
So
yeah.
you learn. So there's that personal growth in you. And
Mhm.
the next one, moving on, and we have practice self compassion. We can be the hardest critics of ourselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we have to kind of forgive ourselves for being in the relationship that we were in.
Oh,
Maybe we
wow.
knew that it wasn't healthy or wasn't good for a while, and we just kept telling God, I'm going to see for myself, you know? And then we see for ourselves, and it's like, oops. But yeah, sometimes you have to forgive yourself for moving forward with something that you knew in your heart wasn't for you, or, you know, so that can be a big one. Or maybe you were the one that kind of hurt the other person.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe you need to have some compassion on yourself for that too, you know? Um, so yeah, that's a big one on either end, you know, whether you're the dumper or the dumpy.
Oh, the dumper or the dumpy.
Yeah.
So we need to be compassionate of ourselves. The same compassion we show others, the same grace that we
Hmm.
show others. We sometimes say, you know what, Maria, you did wrong. You did wrong. You should have not, you should have not used his email and send it to a million people. You should have not hacked his Facebook account and send, different. Oh,
Ideas.
Angelita, those are really, there's some good ideas. No, 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 no. That's your takeaway. This whole hour we've been talking, that's your takeaway.
Oh,
And Diana says, oh my God, yes, I was toxic with one guy way back in my 20s, and man, I needed Jesus. Yep, we have
yeah,
all been there. We've all grown. Amen. Praise God. Praise God for that. So, yeah, we need to be compassionate to ourselves and see, you know what, I messed up and forgive ourselves. And we know now that we know better, we do better and
yeah.
we move on and grow. So, if there comes a point, and the next one's going to be seek professional help if needed. When do you think in your opinion, Jade, that we need to go to that step?
I mean, if you just feel like you're struggling with it on your own, and sometimes we have our support system, we have our friends and our family and our loved ones that we talk to, but sometimes you just need that person that's not involved in your life, that doesn't know all the same people that you know, that is just kind of like that neutral third party that you can talk to freely without any fear of any judgment, or that they're going to have certain opinions on this or that. They're just that neutral person. And so, you know, everybody has their own breaking point, everybody has their own limit, but you know, if you feel like the support system that you have, you know, maybe it's not quite enough, you know, seeking that professional help, that outside third person can be really helpful.
Yeah, I think that when you know that it's too much to handle, that it's going beyond what you're capable, like you're feeling like you can't cope with daily activities when
Mhm.
it's so much that is infringing on other lives and your
And you're functioning.
livelihood. Yeah, you're not functioning. You can't go to work. You can't concentrate. I
Or
mean,
maybe even if you're isolating from your support system, because that's another thing that can happen too, is sometimes you don't feel like you can talk to the people in your life that you know. Again, having that confidential third person can be really helpful. But yeah, those are all really good signs, like when we start letting go of ourselves or not functioning the way we normally do. um, you know, maybe you have the crying roulette playlist, and when the when the Bad Bees song comes
oh
on,
yeah,
still crying, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
those moments where even all the regular things that you do to try and cheer yourself up aren't working, then it's good to seek some professional help.
Absolutely. And last one I want to talk to you is take time to heal. Everybody needs that space. Don't go into the next relationship. Don't go into the next relationship without having that time to heal, allowing that time. for the wound
Mm-hmm.
to dry up, or the wound or to heal, to make that scar that just take that time, because
Yeah.
sometimes we just rush one into another, and sometimes I believe I see it in my imagination that when we go from one bad relationship to another, all we're doing is dragging dead bodies into the next relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot of baggage, you know. But yeah, we take the time. I mean, and everybody's time is going to be different. Um, but that's very important. You know, we've got to give ourselves that time to heal. So I did want to say, you know, as far as seeking professional help, always remember we now have the no rebounds. That's kind of a good idea,
Yeah.
usually. So if you are, you know, having trouble and you're feeling sad and you're, you know, not sure what to do, maybe having panic or nightmares or, I mean, thoughts that you don't want to be here, anything like that, you can always call 988, which is the now the National Mental Health and Suicide Crisis Line. So it's not just for suicidal ideation, it's for any kind of mental health crisis you may be having, and it's 24/7. So again, it's 988. Um, so now we have
Mm.
that for mental health crises, just like we have 911 for medical emergencies. So that's always available for you. You can share that number with friends. But
Is that 24/7?
yes, yeah. And usually they can help you find resources in your area to have, you know, kind of ongoing care and
Okay,
things like
let me
that.
put that. Okay, 24, just for those, let me just make sure we put
Mhm.
24/7. There we go. Let me put that one more time. Oh, wrong one. There you go. There you go. 988 National Mental Health and Suicide Line, 24/7 available. Thank you so
Yes.
much. So let me review again. So our tips are contribution to you for those of you that are going through a breakup. We talked about number one, allow yourself time to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve. Number two, seek support from loved ones. Number three, take care of your physical health. Number four, engage in activities you enjoy. Number five, set boundaries. Number six, reflect on the relationship. Number seven, focus on personal growth. Number eight, practice self compassion. Number nine, seek professional help if needed. Number 10, take time to heal. And that, again, one last time, that number 988 National Mental Health and Suicide Line 24/7. Jay, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Always have a good time with you, Maria.
Oh my God. And I know it will not be the last time. We will continue to do these. So I'm
Yes.
real excited for what's to come, and we'll do some more of these. And Liz, this is a great comment. It
Love
says,
you,
Diana,
Tanya.
love you both. Thank you for sharing this podcast. So, everybody, please, please, it will help me immensely if you like, if you comment, if you watch this in the replay, if all of that helps us grow and gives me the opportunity to do to keep doing what we do. Good night, Tati.
Good
Thank you so much for being
night.
with us. Thank you so much. So we will put the link below, but these you can watch them on YouTube as well, so you can share them. All these episodes are already on YouTube, so you can watch on YouTube. Make sure you click and you follow. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube. I know it's not a lot, but it will make a difference. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you guys. Have a good night. Jade, don't go anywhere.